Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene at Subin Command. Give me a CAN report.
What's up, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the CAN Report. I've got a great show today. I have my man from HardKnox Sunday, Marcos Orozco. I am so honored and humbled to have him on. Man, the dude's a workout king. And I think the people who know who he is know what I'm talking about. And the people who don't, well, you're going to have to make sure you tune into this one because he's got a lot to talk about. So, Marcos, thank you so much for being on the show.
Brother, thank you, man. The feeling's mutual, man. I'm humbled that you even asked me to be on your show. So thank you. I'm excited.
You're very welcome, my friend. I'm excited. I'm pumped. So real quick, we'll jump into your bio. Marcos Orozco was born and raised in Texas and became passionate about fitness at the age of 12 when his dad bought him his first gym membership. He played sports throughout high school and ran track for ASU, where he got a bachelor's degree in exercise science. And I'm going to screw this up because I'm dumb. Kinesiology?
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology. Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about that one. Marcos has been a career fireman for 17 years and has been training and working out in gear for about 15 plus of those years. His passion for fitness as it relates to performance on the fireground is what he is passionate about and what he's best known for. This is very true. He has spent the past decade plus training tactical athletes. I love that. And helping them become the best version of themselves, making them an asset rather than a liability. Marcos is the owner of HardKnox Sunday, where he has programs designed to help firefighters improve their fitness as it relates to performance on the fireground. He is a big believer in you are either an asset or a liability. There is no in between. He's also the co-founder of Crucible with John Spira and Logan Broberg. The Crucible is a 24-hour class where the participants will do a 12-hour in full gear workouts over the 24-hour period, where a standard must be met under the required time frame. This class is meant to help build that mental fortitude and to share with the participants who has worked for us, the cadre. Man, I'm studying like a mofo. We'll be focused on building the participants up and healing them and helping them work for those dark moments. In addition, the cadre will be doing the workouts with the participants, I think is super cool, and embracing the shared suffering. He's also the co-owner of True Grit Training, where they provide realistic live fire trainings, as well as RIT and search and rescue classes in the Denver metropolitan area. Bro, we'll stop it right there. That's awesome. I'm stuttering because I'm so excited to talk to you. That's like, as soon as I hit record, like
this is a long ass bio. We're at it.
Dude, I get so amped up when I'm talking to people I admire, and you're one of them. Like, my face is red. I'm excited, dude. Marcos, thank you for being on the CAN Report, brother.
Thank you, man. I'm excited, bro. Let's do this.
Oh, let's get it going. So, let's start right off the bat, dude. Like, how did you? What is kinesiology?
Kinesiology. So
I see I screwed up again.
Yeah. So I went to school because I used to want to be a physical therapist. So kinesiology, like the study of body mechanics and body movement, things like that, how the body functions and moves and all that kind of stuff. That's basically the dumbed down version of what it means.
And that just is it just something you've always wanted to do? Like, you just became so involved with sports, athletics, and what made you want to just carry on with that? I know you got the gym when you were younger, but then you seem to just really get into the physical fitness of everything. So was it your family? Was there anything that went on in your family that just made you so motivated to want to get yourself to the best physical fitness you could?
I mean, so my dad taught me a lot about work ethic. He was born and raised in Mexico, became a U.S. citizen and stuff like that. So he's the one that instilled that hard work ethic, right? And then I was in Texas, if you know anything about Texas, like football is king, right? So, and you play football from 7th grade through high school and stuff. So that kind of started it, right? And like I said, I got into fitness at like 12 years old because, you get all the magazines back in the day. There's no like internet and stuff. And you got the cutouts of all the bodybuilders and stuff. And I would rip out workouts and have a little file system of like chest and buys, back and tries and all this stuff, right? And my dad, I kept bugging him for membership. And like I said, at 12, he's like, all right, I'll make you a deal. I'll pay for it, but you have to go every single day. You can't miss a single day. And I interviewed him like 4 years ago just to kind of see what his thoughts were on me growing up. And he's like, you literally went every single day. You would ride your bicycle there, work out, ride your bicycle home, or like they would maybe take me there with my bicycle and I'd ride home or vice versa. But he's like, you literally never missed a day. Um, and that's kind of how I grew up, right? Being in sports in Texas, ran track, played baseball, and then I ran track at ASU. And then when I got hired in the fire service, I didn't take it seriously, man, for the first 3 or 4 years. I was still drinking then. I was just riding everybody's coattails that said there. I'm a fireman, and I expected to get respect for that, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a single call, or because people always ask me, like, when did you flip the switch? It just, you're on the fire ground and you're like, frig, man, like I
You can
am.
swear, it's cool.
All right, cool. It's really hard for me not to swear. I'm like, fuck, man. I used to being this kind of athlete, and here I am down here, right? I didn't know anything about gear and what it does to you and all that kind of the physiological effects it has on you and all that kind of stuff like I do now. But I was like, dude, I don't like this feeling, and I need to make sure this doesn't happen again, right? So how do you get better at anything? You just get in it, right? Do more
Yeah.
of whatever it is that you suck at. So, and that's just kind of the drive. I think it just started from there, right? Just being disciplined and not wanting to be that liability on the fire ground. Always want to be the asset.
Were you ever taught that? And when you started getting to the fire service and from being a probie and then getting like 5 years, 10 years in and becoming more senior, when you first started, like, did anyone ever say like, you need to focus on this for your fitness, or you need to be fit for this job? Or did you just get into the job and they showed you the basic skills,
Right.
taught you how to be a firefighter, taught you how to live in the firehouse, but never
Right.
taught you like, hey, if you're actually really physically fit, you're not going to suck down a bottle, or you're not going to be winded after that first, pulling the hose line in, was that ever brought to your attention when you first started?
I mean, I think in the fire academy, they talked about like fitness and stuff, and PT was never an issue for me. Um, but it was never like, hey, you got to get in gear. You got to be good in gear. You got to be comfortable in gear. So all those things that you just said, right? You're an asset. You're not sucking down your cylinder and all that stuff. Excuse me. But never directly in the conversation was that like brought up. It was more like, you just got to be fit, right? Back then, people didn't really know what that meant. As long as you
Yeah.
looked good, people thought you were fit. And as we all know, you can look amazing, and I put you in gear and you're going to suck in 5 minutes, So it's like, what back then it wasn't a thing, I don't think, or at least it wasn't taught to me.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the first things I noticed when I joined the fire service. I started as a call guy, and no one ever really explained to me like how to move in my gear, and then
yeah,
actually like how to be fit in it. Like I remember when I first started, like we're doing hose advancements, and I used to lift a lot. Like that's all I cared about was the beach muscles, right? So I'd make sure I was working on my chest, getting the pecs, getting the biceps, and my legs were toothpicks, and I didn't care about anything. People always used to bust my balls because that's all I ever worked out on was my beach muscles. Joined the fire
right,
service, and then as soon as I was in gear and we're moving hose line for training, and holy crap, I was so winded. I overexerted myself. I got sick, because I
yeah,
overexerted myself. I wasn't prepared to actually do this. And then that was like a eye-opening experience. It was like, I know I can lift weights. Like that's not a problem. Why do I feel I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought like I had a medical condition because I got so overexerted. And then like what you said, like there was an eye-opening experience. I was working a fire, and we were doing a lot on the fire grounds because it's a smaller town, smaller community. So I was working a shift at the station, and it was just me and like 3 other guys, and we're just running around this house putting fire out. And I got up the ladder. We already put the porch fire out, and went inside and put the interior out, and then we go, and the chief's telling us, "Hey, get up that ladder and go into the attic space." I climb up the ladder, and I'm waiting for the guy to give me the hose line, and he's like, "No, you got to come down to get it for whatever reason." And as soon as I come back down, I hit that wall. I was like, "Oh my
yeah,
God, I just hit it." It was so crazy how it felt. It's like, I'm done.
yeah,
Right now I need to go into rehab because I am physically
yeah,
taxed. Right. And then ever since that day, I was like, I got to be better. I need to be better. So I went to I got a trainer at the gym because my workouts, I wasn't taxing myself. I wasn't doing what needed to be done, but no one ever told me or showed me like working out in gear, like the
yeah,
benefits of working out in gear. We trained in our gear, but we never actually did workouts in it.
right,
And like, you see
yeah.
people playing kickball in their gear, or they do some like
Well,
jumping, like do some other fun activities, but that's not really physically taxing you to that limit of trying to break through that wall and keep pushing. So
Right.
that's how you got inspired. You felt that urge, like, I got to be better on the fire ground, until you started working out in gear. And then you started developing a system for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I've been working out in gear like over 15 years. And back then, just relying on what I knew from like going to school and stuff, and then applying it to how does that translate to performance on the fire ground,
Mhm.
right? Because like I always say, man, like when I've taught a bunch of academies, I'll be like, you could be the CrossFit Games athlete, you could be a D1 athlete. I don't care. When I put you in gear, this is where the rubber hits the road, right? And I don't expect people to be good at it from the get, but you have to understand that that is the almighty equalizer. That and elevation, and then floor to humidity. It's like the almighty equalizers, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, and just you have to, and again, I mean, we can get into it, but you have to stay acclimated to it. You can't just put it on during recruit school for 12, 16, 20 weeks, and then you get online and then you just leave it in the ambulance or whatever rig you're on, and then you never put it on, right? You're
Yeah.
not going to rise to the occasion. And I talk about all that and all the science behind it and stuff, and what happens, what it does to us physically, physiologically, mentally, all the things, um, if you're not in gear all the time. But
So
yeah.
you didn't just like say, hey, you need to throw your gear on and do this. You did the homework. You read up on the science. You read up on the data behind it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, at first I was relying on the education I had from school, right? But then as I was getting more into it, right, you start reading people's research, like Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman and his book on combat, and then I got a bunch of articles and stuff that talk about what happens to us when we just put our gear on and what it does to us physiologically and what is considered gear work, right? Like operating in whatever your uniform is that you have to wear for work, and the greater difference that it is from everyday attire to versus work uniform, aka our gear and SCBA and all that, the greater the difference, the more you have to be in it to be more acclimated to it and to be able to do work. Right.
Sure.
And it goes back to like the samurai days and all their stuff and the Roman times and all their stuff. Right. It goes way back when. Um, but people forget about that.
So you gradually started developing a program when you started. So you got into this fitness. You realized that having this program in your gear is so important. And then you started developing like steps. Were you like starting to write things down and thinking like, hey, this actually needs to be expressed to everybody, not just me or the crew I'm working with, but I want other people to benefit from this. So did you start building a program?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been doing it and I always keep track of my workouts and stuff forever. And then I was talking to and I've been friends with Logan Broberg forever. He's a Florida boy, right? And he told me like 3 years ago, he's like, dude, you should put your workout thing together. He was putting his workout thing together. Nobody was doing any kind of programming for anything in gear.
Mhm.
Nobody, nobody was. Right. And I'm not saying we invented it or I'm not saying any of that, but no, like 3 years ago, you couldn't find anybody to program for you anything in gear. Right.
Yeah.
People were just putting together or seeing workouts online or whatever. So he's the one that encouraged me to do it. And he helped me literally like do all the computer stuff. Cause I'm an old guy. So, kind of tech, tech retarded, but, so he literally helped me. So I'm forever grateful for him. And that's when I started the hitters program. I kind of call it like the intro to getting in gear, right? Because people always ask me like, what program should I use? And I'm like, well, my first two questions are, how often are you in gear? And how long are you in gear for each workout? Right. And if the answer is not like every day and whatever, it's like, hey, do the hitters. It's kind of like a crawl, walk, run, right? There's some lifting in there, but not like chest. You're not lifting chest. You're not lifting curls. You're not lifting triceps. It's like squats, deadlifts, pull ups, push ups, things like that, right? And then we get you in gear. Sometimes it's just coat and pants, and then we progress. And then I have the heavy because I have a bunch of smoke diver buddies. They're like, dude, you need to write a program that's just calisthenics that puts you in the dirt. And I said, okay, Roger that. And that's what that is. It's just all calisthenics, full gear, and some of them are 45 minutes to 2+ hours.
So
Um,
when somebody's interested in your program,
yep.
they'll reach out to you, obviously, whether email, Instagram,
Yeah.
um, and then they say, hey, they just reach out and go, what can I do? What do you have for me? And then you start
Yeah.
getting their background information.
Yeah. So I do have people that are like, hey, I want to get better at being in gear. Like, do you have any? I'm in the fire academy right now. Do you have any suggestions? I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I have these two programs. I would suggest this program because you're starting out. And the cool thing is it's $50, 12 weeks, 5 workouts a week. It's like 84 cents a workout or something like that.
Wait, so is
You
it
get it.
$50 for 1 month, or is it $50 for like a year? Or...
It's $50 for the one 12-week program. And I have two 12-week programs. So if you want both, it's $100 and then you own it. You get an email sent to you with the
Dude,
PDF that's pretty nice.
that's
That my
incredible.
yeah, I mean, it's 84 cents a workout. Like you can't.
That's you can't. And you know what? I mean, when we're done with this conversation, I'm gonna sign up for this because, bro, that's I always thought it was like going to be really expensive, and I love the fire service. Everyone loves it to talk about their job. They love to train. They love to get people to be better. But sometimes it comes at a really expensive cost, right? So when you have these workout programs, I know guys got to live, right? You know, but we're also firefighters. So the ones who are reaching out to do these programs, we don't make a shitload of money, you know?
Exactly.
So like it takes a lot of balls for a firefighter to reach out to another firefighter and say, help me to be better, especially a complete
Yeah.
stranger. I think too, like you don't know what they're doing for work and they don't really know you. And for them to contact you and say, help me be better, that takes a lot of balls. But then when you come back and say, yeah, that's going to be $1,000 for 12 weeks, that hits their pocket. And usually they're like, I'm all set. I'll figure it out on my own then. Like $50 to do
Yeah.
your program, the 12 weeks, that's badass. It just shows that you want guys to be better. And I think that's just, I never knew that existed, dude. I honestly, I'm blown away by you already. Like that is giving back, you know?
Well, and like I tell people, right? Like, and I make no money promoting my buddies, but like Fit to Fight Fire, right? My boy John Spirit, dude, you sign up for $5 a month and you get to work out every day. Like what?
Yeah.
Logan's got a program too. I forget how much it is. It's not crazy a month, and you get to work out a day. Now, if you want like private one-on-one coaching that like Logan does, I do, yeah, that's when it starts getting pricey.
Yeah.
150, $200 a month, but that's like custom tailored to you and nobody else. But like most people can't afford that. So I'm like, dude, go to Fit to Fight Fire or do my thing, $50, no big deal. And then people are like, well, how are you going to keep people from like sharing with their friends? I'm like, I'm not freaking worried about it, man. I want them to share it with their friends, get their crew working out with them. Like, who cares? The whole point is getting people in gear and becoming assets, right? Like, I'm not here to, everybody that sees my thing has to pay my fee. It's like, come on, bro, get out of here.
Yeah.
We're not getting rich doing this. I'm not doing this to get rich. Right. So I'm just trying to get the word out, spread the word, and get people in gear and help them become assets on the fire ground if that's what they want to do, man.
I love it, man. That is a great message. And again, giving back to everybody else that, you know, that deserves it. And when the guys are reaching out to someone and say, hey, I want to be better, hit that wall, help me do it. You're giving back to them to help their community so they don't suck on the fire ground. You know,
That's it.
it pays dividends. So that's, man, I absolutely love that. So how did you meet, speaking of Spira and Broberg, how did you meet those guys?
So I met Logan teaching. I've been teaching at the Fort Lauderdale Fire Expo. I think it was 10 years last year, 10 or 11 years. And I met Logan, at the expo teaching. We ended up like having the same group of friends, and then we became friends. And I've just known him for, shoot, I don't even know how long. And then Spira, I didn't meet him till I moved out here to Colorado, but we started talking on the phone before I moved out here. We were like friends on social media and stuff. And then we started talking on the phone, and he's kind of the one that got the bug in my ear to, bro, why don't you just come out to Colorado and ride backwards? Cause I was, I don't love the EMS stuff, right? No secret. I just want to ride backwards and do cool fireman shit. And so he's the one that kind of put the bug in my ear about that. And then when I moved out here, I finally met him and been working out with him and been friends with him ever since, man.
What's cool about Spirit too is like him and I are like the same height. Like we're like 5 foot nothing, right? And
Right, yeah.
to see him doing the stuff that he's doing with guys that are like big as you guys, and he's because like it's sometimes tough to do, like, because we're not built to stretch very far, and then you're putting your gear on and you're trying to get ladders and you're trying to, just some of those workouts can be actually kind of constricting for us. And it shows that you can be small and still kick ass, right?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, most of the top guys and the SEALs and most of those dudes they're not all freaking like Jocko size, right? All my friends that are in that community, they're like small, unassuming dudes, and they're just savages.
Yeah.
Right. So Doesn't matter how big you are. Doesn't matter what gender you are. It's like, can you get after? Are you putting in the work? The standard is the standard. Do you meet the standard? That's it. And
How do
yeah,
you
those dudes get
motivate?
after it.
Because it's motivating right now just hearing you talk about it. And you and Logan and Spira, you guys do an amazing job with what you're preaching online though, because you do a great job. Like I see you guys working out and it makes everybody else want to, at least me, I want to do it. But when you're like face to face with someone and you're in there, they're struggling. How do you put motivating people when you're
Yeah.
doing that, whether it's in person or when you're doing these programs? Like I imagine it's got to be pretty difficult when you're doing these programs via internet. Like, do they reach out to you? Like, do they text you like for progress reports?
So if I'm doing one-on-one stuff, that we do like a weekly check-in, and I want them to send me the times and all this stuff, right? With the other two preset programs that I have, I always tell them like, hey man, at any point in time, do you have questions or whatever, shoot me a message on Instagram, whatever, and we'll figure something out. Like if I had people get hurt and they're like, hey, I can't use my arms or whatever it is, can you modify some stuff for me? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So yeah, they'll reach out to me, but I don't ask like, hey, shoot me a time or whatever. And people ask me like, what's a good time on this workout? I'm like, dude, the stuff that we're doing here and my programs, yeah, are designed to get you better physically. But the big part, the big component of it all is the mental resiliency and the fortitude, right? Because as soon as shit starts getting hard, all of us in life, our body wants to take the easy way out, right? So it's like, dude, the whole goal is keep your gear on and just grind through. I don't care about the time. And I want you to do good reps, right? I don't want these half-ass reps just to get a fast time, right? So the goal is building that mental resiliency, building that mental fortitude, because at the end of the day, that's what's really going to keep you in the fight. Your physicality, yeah, you got to be fit, right? You can't be a fat piece of shit. But if you're fit and you got a weak mind, which we see it all the time, as soon as shit gets hard, they quit.
Yeah.
Versus if you're fit and you got a callous mind, a strong mind, the sky's the limit, man. And I like showing people what they're capable of. And like John told me a long time ago, it's our job to show people what's possible, meaning the young generation or people that are just now trying to get fit for performance on the fire gun. It's our job to show them what's possible. I'm 40 freaking 8 years old, right? I'm 48. John's a little older than I am. I'm not 21 years old rocking it out, right? But, and that's another thing, like age doesn't mean shit. Age doesn't mean shit. If you're using age as an excuse, you're just full of shit. I'm an old man in this game, right? So just trying to show these young bucks what's
I love
possible.
it. It's funny to say because I was just going to ask you how old you are because I saw you did smoke divers. Was it smoke divers at 45?
Yep, I had just turned 45.
That's crazy. Like the fact, like because people ask me like, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing smoke divers?" I'm like, "I'm 46 years old. I don't know if I could do it." And then I'm reading your shit. I'm like,
Sure you
"Well,
can.
damn, I can't say that anymore." That's
My buddy just graduated Oklahoma, and he was 48.
that is
He might
crazy.
he might be the oldest, definitely the oldest guy for Oklahoma smoke diver. I'm not sure about all the programs, but yeah.
That's impressive.
Don't mean
Now,
yeah.
I mean, getting older, you know, and you're more prone to injuries because you're just working harder and your body's hard. It's harder to recover. How do you work through the injuries, or how do you, if you've ever been injured, you know, if you know, like I had knee problems, you know, like I got older and all of a sudden my knees like, F you, you're not going to be doing this for a while. And I had to recover from that. How do you deal with some of those injuries from working out?
Yeah. So like you, man, I've had 5 knee surgeries on the left leg. I tore my ACL in college, and then I had a scope. And then in 2019, I had 3 knee surgeries while I was on the job. Tore my ACL again, tore my other meniscus, and then had a scope on my left knee. So 2019 took me 10 months to get back online, full, like rigorous 6-hour PT sessions, you know, like every day and stuff like that. And it's just like, technically right now I have a torn ACL in that same knee again. They said I need a total knee replacement, which I'm trying to figure out when to get done this year. And like between all the stuff we're doing, in pain all the time, but no fact. I mean, I'm here to do a job, man. I'm here to do a job, and I'm not going to let some pain get in the way. I don't take pain pills. Sometimes I'll take some ibuprofen or whatever. But as far as like staying healthy, um, I feel like if you're in gear all the time, it's not going to be a surprise when you get in gear,
Yeah.
right? Versus if you're never in gear or you're never working out and then you catch a fire, right? What is the biggest thing that people die from in our line of work? It's either suicide or cardiac arrest, right? I mean, if we're fit and we're used to being in gear, less chances of injury. Oh, mother effer. Oh, you're going to throw your mic, dude. Can't hear you, bro. We could always do it another day, man. When you got better internet. Oh, shit.
This is nuts, dude. Like,
that's freaking crazy.
Dude, it's literally never happened before. This is fucked up. I don't know what's going on.
You guys got a storm there or something, or what's happening?
I wish I knew. Like this, a nor'easter.
Nor'easter.
A nor'easter. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can.
I didn't know you were 46, bro. You look way younger than that.
Yeah.
Props.
Like you just said, like age is, it's all in the mind, right? And like, I try not to feel old. All right, so we're recording again. I don't understand what is happening. This is fucking pissing me off. Tell you what, we're gonna try this again, and if this keeps fucking up, I'll have to reschedule and figure out what's going on, because I don't know what's happening. Weird, dude. It's never happened. Like all my recordings, if I could pimp, and like now all of a sudden this is the one guy I was really looking forward to talking to is it's all fucking up. Okay, we'll try it again. So, yeah, so that's impressive, dude. Like really, like when I'm on the fire grounds and I'm doing stuff on my training, I definitely try not to keep that age. Like I'm guilty. I'll say, oh man, I'm 46. I'm feeling it today, but I don't stop what I'm doing. Like I keep going. And my goal is to outperform the young people, because if I can do it, they can do it. I love to keep going. So now with the Crucible, how did you guys come up with that?
So John texts me and Logan. He's like, hey, what do you guys think about because like my boy Basil, they run that 24-hour one bad tour class, which is a freaking awesome class. I took it in December. Amazing class, and we wanted to put something together. It was a little different. He's like, what do you think about a 24-hour class where we do 12 gear workouts, like full gear workouts in that 24 hours? Because we're all about working out in gear and stuff, right? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. John thought he was going to get more resistance from me and Logan, and we're both like, fuck it, let's do it. So we actually trialed it out last November. Us three, Logan flew out here, and us three put ourselves through it. Which is good because we got to tweak some stuff like, hey, this workout's way too freaking easy, or hey, I like this, or let's do that. Okay, I like this. So we did all of the workouts. We tweaked it as we went through, and we got to put ourselves through it. So it's basically John came up with it, and we're like, yeah, let's go, let's run with it.
And that's based in Colorado.
Yep, it's going to be in Denver. Luckily, we have a really good relationship with Chief Oster from South Adams County Fire Rescue. It's our neighboring department. They're letting us use their training center. And yeah, so we're mile high. That's one. So you got the freaking elevation to worry about. When you talk to Logan, he came from sea level Florida he was dying, but he got it done. Yeah. Right. Savage. So it's doable, but that's a whole thing, man. You come from sea level to mile high. You feel it. You feel like you never worked out in your entire life, because you're audibly, you could hear him breathing super loud, and just you can't get enough oxygen in your system. Wow. Which is fun.
Like, how do you prep for that? Yeah. Like coming from like Arizona and then going to, you
don't, man. You can't, even those elevation training masks and stuff, those are just O2 restricted masks, because I've had them, but it doesn't prep you for elevation. You don't. We got guys signed up from Hawaii coming, obviously Florida, a bunch of sea level states. So it's going to be interesting. Wow. But yeah, it's going to be a good time, man.
Now, 31st. Is this a pass or fail kind of thing? Or do you like if like one bad tour and then smoke divers program, like if you're not cutting the mustard, do you kind of just say, hey man, you're going to have to sit this one out. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So the deal is, it's nothing smoke diver related. It's not tied to smoke diver, and it's not anything like smoke diver, meaning, we're not going to be yelling. We're not going to be any of that kind of stuff. We're actually the opposite, right? We're going to be encouraging them. And the whole point of this class is, yeah, we're going to do 12 workouts, but it's also teaching guys how to build that mental resiliency, how to build that mental fortitude when shit starts getting sucky and you're in the black and you're in the dark spaces. Like, how do you flip the switch? All right, you're in it. Cool. Keep going. Do one more rep, one more step, whatever. So we're here to like teach them in the middle of while they're doing their shit, to get people to realize, hey, I can go further than what I think I can and what my mind tells me, because it's the mind that wants to shut off,
Mhm.
right? The mind, as soon as something gets hard, it's like, nope, I'm done, I'm out. And then
Yeah.
we're like, all right, fuck, that whole 40% that they talk about, the SEALs and shit. So we're just going to be teaching them during the workouts, and then in the off time, we're going to be talking about that kind of stuff too, or anything that they want to talk about. But to answer your question, the standard is the standard. We will show them the standard of movements, like a push up is this, down up is this. This is a standard. Um, and you'll get like one or two warnings, and if you keep doing that, you're out. There's no time standard as far as workouts, but a workout starts every other hour. So you have to finish workout 1 before workout 2 is scheduled to start, because if you don't, you're out. So, if it takes you an hour and 58 minutes to finish it, you got 2 minutes to rest. And obviously we all know what's going to happen. If you start cutting it that close, it's just going to compound, and you're not going to last very long. Right.
Yeah.
And the beauty is, our initial plan was for all 3 of us to do all the workouts with all the students originally. But putting ourselves through the crucible when we did the trial last year, we realized if we're all in it, we can't keep an eye on anybody and like talk people through that might need a little encouragement or a little coaching or whatever. So, and that's the whole point of the class. We're not here just to kick ass and show how cool we are or whatever, hey, we could work out. So what we're going to do is one person will work out and the other 2 will be observing and coaching people through and stuff like that.
That's
And there's
awesome.
some workouts that all 3 of us will be able to do it with them, because it's a little different, but yeah.
Do you give for people who sign up, is there any prep information that you give them, like, these are what I want you to prepare for this, or start eating right at this day, or is there any way that you give any helpful advice you give them before they start their journey?
So no workout advice, but we do send them like a nutrition thing that has helped us, and like how to calculate calories, and like, we send them like stuff that's worked for us, like supplement wise and stuff like that. No tie to anything, that we're not making money off of anything. But like anybody that knows or ever done races, like, you want to get all this squared away before the day of,
Yeah.
because they always say don't change anything race day, because what works for me might fuck your stomach up, or vice versa, right? So you don't want to change anything the day of, because it's super unexpected, right? Or like eating super clean leading up to it, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, because if you're going to be burning that many calories, you can't get clean calories like that. And then all of a sudden you eat shit food that day, your stomach's going to just blow up. So it's like, you got to practice like you play, whatever cliche term you want to use. But no, we just send them a nutrition guide, and that's pretty much it.
That's awesome.
Got to
It,
figure it out, man.
that is super cool. I like that very much. What a great program. And honestly, how did you guys come up with the name The Crucible?
John, I think John came up with it. John was like, "What do you guys think about this?" And this is the definition of the crucible. And we're like, "Hell yeah!" There's no other class called that right now, So it's like, let's go with it.
That's cool, man. I love it. Now, in talking about names for Hard Knock Sunday, what is that
Mhm.
name? What does it mean?
Yeah, so I came up back in 2011. I started HardKnox Sunday, and what it was is I was kind of like the promoter, so I would promote local mom and pop owned gyms in the area, and I would offer one free workout a month, meaning like, hey, if you owned a gym, March is your month, and I would get a bunch of people to show up to your gym. You would put on the workout. I wouldn't do anything about it. I would just be there, get the people there, and I would do the workout. And then every month it would be, some different gym, just to promote fitness and to promote mom and pop gyms in the local area. So that's why it was the third Sunday of every month. So Hard Knock Sunday. And then just from like teaching boot camps and personal training and, all that kind of stuff, that the name just kind of stuck. And that's kind of just, there's no point in changing it now. Everybody knows, well, not everybody, but people that know me know it's Hard Knocks, right? So that's where it came from.
I like it. It's a great name. It's a great logo. And even so, why is it X and not like, your standard spelling?
Just because like the School of Hard Knocks, man, like just
Yeah,
be a little different. And
I like
just,
it.
I grew up in the School of Hard Knocks. So just like the way it looks better, man.
I hear you. It's one of the make sure
Yeah,
people
man.
understand where it's coming from. I like it. So when you
Yeah.
talk about Hard Knocks, we talk about hard lessons. You've lived through some hard knocks. You've learned some tough lessons in life. How did you start? Like, what was the the path that you had been down, and how did it lead you to the righteous path?
Yeah, I mean, shit. So my parents got divorced when I was 4. So I grew up in a divorced household. Grew up with my dad. My brother grew up with my mom, which is a whole crazy story anyway. Um, so just dealing with like the animosity between my mom and my dad from my mom's side, not my dad's side. And then just so I bartended in college, bartended in South Beach when South Beach was cool. So I was drinking. Anybody that's bartended knows you drink on your days off because you're seeing your buddies that are bartending. You're drinking before work, you're drinking at work, you're drinking after work. So I was drinking literally every single day. And I got hired in '08 with my first career fire department, and I was still drinking. Luckily, I wasn't drinking on the job, but we'd go out till like 5, 6 in the morning and just roll right into shift. Not proud of that. I'm not saying it to brag, but that's kind of the life we're living, right? And I'd gotten a DUI back in college. Luckily, it was so old. It still gave me a hard time getting hired at first, but I was back on like I blacked out every time I drank, literally every single time. I didn't drink because I liked the taste of it. I didn't like any alcohol. I just drank to get fucked up. And if I'm getting fucked up, you're getting fucked up, and everybody around me is getting fucked up, and we're just getting fucked up. And then I would say I was a bad drunk. Like I had to do so many every day apologies the next day, text, or like people would tell me, dude, you did this, you said this, and I didn't remember shit. Which after a while gets old to people around you that you're hanging out with, right? Yeah. And then so 2011 is when I went out on a bender, kind of ruined my brother's engagement party. Went out on a bender for 2 or 3 days. In the middle of the day, after the bender, don't remember driving, totaled my car, hit a car that had a family in it. Luckily, nobody got hurt. Cops, fire department showed up. I don't know how I didn't get a DUI or arrested. I got put in a cab and got sent home. And I was like, fuck this shit. When I woke up, I'm like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
I am done. You know, I'm not religious by any means, but somebody or something was looking out for me that day. So yeah, I just woke up and I said, I'm fucking done, and never drank again. I didn't go to classes or anything like that. And if that's what you need, awesome. Whatever you need to do if that's the choice you make, right? You have to make that choice for you, not for your family, not for your wife, husband, brother, kids, whatever. You have to make that decision for yourself and really mean it to yourself. Whatever you need to do, man. It was literally the best decision of my life. My life infinitely got better from the next day on. And never, ever, like somebody asked me, like, oh, this is going on in your life. Do I need to worry about you drinking? I'm like, dude, the world could be coming to an end tomorrow. They could tell us today on the news, the world is coming to an end tomorrow, and I would not drink.
Yeah.
Like, it is not worth it for me to drink. So, and I like sharing that story, not because I'm proud of what I did, but I'm proud of my sobriety. It was 14 years this past January. And if anybody needs help or anybody wants to reach out, dude, it's okay to ask for help, right? So if I can help one person get sober, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's an amazing story, bro. Yeah, as we know, it's not easy for everybody to do that. Like you said, like, some people struggle their whole lives wanting to stop the drinking or the drug use, and they all have good intentions and they just keep falling back into that hole again. But it's great to have that drive and that willpower to push past that and know that that's your demon and you're not going back. That's incredible to be able. You talk about like pushing people and motivating people, and when you want to give up, you got to take that one more step. That's what you did. Like, I'm not giving up on this. I'm going to do it, and you have that mental fortitude to really push through. And now you can. I love that you're using that story and that motivation to push others through, whether it's the workouts, addictions, life in general, man. Like, we have, I think, our fire service has gotten pretty young because there are a lot of people who've retired. So there's a lot of people who haven't experienced life yet. And people like us can tell them, like, hey, I've been there. I can help you through it. I've lived a life of crap, and I've learned to be better. And if you don't have any life experiences, you really can't help anybody out sometimes. Sometimes you have to go through the darkest of times to be able to be that person to teach the new people. It's
You
a
got
great
no street
story.
cred,
Yeah,
right?
bro.
You got no street, and you got to do hard shit in life, right? That's all tied into building that mental resilience and that fortitude. And like, I don't know if you listen to Andrew Huberman, right? He talks about, he has an episode with David Goggins, right? And he talks about the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. It's part of your brain that is tied to willpower. And what they found is, and I'm paraphrasing, so excuse me if I mess that up a little bit, but they found, and he's like this big time scientist, super smart dude, right? That works at Stanford. And they found that people that do hard shit, it's bigger in their brain versus people that don't do hard shit, right? So like David Goggins probably has a huge one, right? And people who have had hard life experiences or hard life and they've overcome whatever they've had to go through, right? They have a bigger part of that brain that's tied to willpower, right? And you ask about like motivating, right? So I like to say I don't motivate people, even though people like to use that word. I always say motivation is fickle, right? It comes and goes. It's like listening to music when you work out, right? Oh, that motivates me, right? Or whatever. I picked it up from Goggins. When he runs, he doesn't listen to music. So when I ran my 100-miler, I trained with no music, and it's amazing, right? You're just you and your thoughts, and we all know our thoughts get in our head, and as soon as shit gets hard, hey Marcos, you could stop this workout right now. Nobody's gonna fucking know, and you could say you did the workout and whatever, right? And it's so easy to quit, right? So I say you got to rely on discipline, man. Discipline of what your goal is, what you're trying to accomplish versus right now and your comfort right now. Because never, ever have I met anybody that's done a workout and been like, damn, I wish I didn't do that workout, right?
Yeah.
But there's times when I don't work out or somebody doesn't like, fuck, man, I should have worked out or I should have trained, right? Never, even if you're having a shitty day, for me, it's like, I got that addictive personality, right? So I took over my alcohol with fitness. So everybody knows me and knows I like to go big or go home, right? So for me, it's sanity, man. The working out is sanity. If I don't work out every day, it's like, start to go a little insane. And it's just that therapy for me. It's just getting after it. If I have a bad day, which I don't usually have bad days because I feel like it's a choice, then I'm just going to punish myself even harder, man. Just 2 hours in gear instead of 1 hour in gear, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's
Kind of went off
awesome.
on a tangent.
No, please. That's what I love to. I love to bring that out. I want you to go on those tangents. That's. I like that you like the fact you even admit like I got the addictive personality, and
Sure.
I'm going to use that to get my workouts to push myself. And like I've been there. Like there's times I beat myself up mentally, and like you said, like well, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work out even harder to push past that whatever is bothering me for the day. I'm going to use that as my motivation, as my discipline, and that's a great like it just this is what it's all about is that how can you push past those walls. And you just said it, discipline. And you're absolutely right, man. Motivation's fickle, but you got to be disciplined in your mind and not pick up that beer and but pick up those weights and get your body right, get your mind right. I've said it before, like, man, when I'm working out, like my mind, that's when like everything starts snapping and like everything is like, I get creative when I'm working out in the gym. All of a sudden everything just starts flashing in front of me and I start thinking about what I want to write. I start thinking about like just things that just get me going. And when I don't work out, like that's where like things just get like low for me. And as soon as I start working out again, I'm feeling energized and motivated it's definitely a good feeling because your blood is going, your mind's going, is forgetting the things that's bothering you, and you just let it go. I'm like, man, well, there's some dark times I had, and like I just got on the treadmill, I was like running, and I was like, there was like a low time in my life I was having problems, and like, dude, there's tears running down my face as I'm running, but it felt good. Like it's I didn't sit at home and wallow in my misery. I was at the gym, like beating it out, and it helped a lot instead of just sitting down in a dark room. I was getting it all those problems out on the weights and in the treadmill.
Oh yeah. And you got to be careful too, right? Like you were saying, we're all hard on ourselves, right? And you got to give yourself grace, right? And they talk about like positive and negative self-talk, right? They found that positive self-talk is way more efficient and effective than negative self-talk, right? So like I stole this from Jocko, right? He always says, good. Oh, it's fucking raining outside. Good. It's snowing outside. We got to train. Good. Right. So like all my students from like whenever I started teaching, I always implement that. And even like a simple, we've all seen it, right? When shit starts getting hard, what do? They start shaking their head no. Mm-hmm. I'm like, fuck that. Shake your head yes. right? And say, I can, right? Like I can. Just those words in your head, right? And just that positive self-talk, or like, I'm a motherfucking badass, right? I'm a fucking warrior, whatever it is, right? Now, granted, like that's for like I tell people when they're first getting into this game, right? And you talk to people who have been in this game for a little bit, right? I always say I have a black belt in solo suffering, right? Because I pretty much work out by myself most of the time, unless I'm on shift or whatever. But like me now, some days I'll do some negative ass self talk, like really negative, and I'll talk some serious shit to myself because I'm being a little bitch, you know. But I'm okay with that, and you know, I know that at that moment that's what I need, right? And then other days I'm like, all right, you're a bad motherfucker, let's go. So you just got to be careful with that positive and negative self talk, right? But it just like that one word, good. Just that one freaking. That's why everything I like tag, I always write good, right? Because it's like that one little thing. People give me shit. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You know, good. You give me shit, good.
I
So
love. I'm glad you actually explained that, because every time I see you comment on something, it's always the good
yeah,
with the skulls in the middle. I'm like, what? That's his thing, and I'm always curious about what is it. Why does he have that?
I
So
mean, I didn't invent it. Right? I got it from Jocko. He's always talked about it, and you know, that's what he talks about. And good. And they're like, I already like he talks about how his guys come in to tell him shit, and he's like, I already know what you're going to say. You're going to tell me good, and he's like, yep, exactly. And then it just puts a smile on your face. And if you're in a shitty mood, you can't be in a shitty mood when you're smiling, right? It's hard. It's
that
probably
is.
impossible, but so just smile and nod, and let's get out.
I love that, man, and I've learned that too. Is I smile a lot more,
Oh yeah,
because it's definitely easier to smile, and people are always like walking past you, what the fuck are you smiling about? Oh, I'm just happy to be here today.
right, bro.
I'm happy to
That's
get
right.
to it, man.
Why aren't you smiling? That should be your response.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So you had the Crucible and you got Hard Knock Sunday, and now you have True Grit training.
Yep.
So that provides, now that's not a workout training, that's doing like hands-on training. You're doing RIT and some firefighter safety, right?
Yeah, so there's 5 of us here in the Denver area that started True Grit, right? From different departments. We all teamed up, and what we've been offering is live fire right now. That's classes that we've been put on. But what we like to say is like, you know, every academy you've gone throughout the country, your burns are like 500 degrees, maybe 700 degrees. We all know that ain't fucking hot, right? So then when these guys make it online and they get a real fire and it's 1200, 1500 degrees, physiologically, they are not going to perform. And Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman talks about that, right? So they're now in the fear stage, and they're super tacky, and they're fear, and they're condition black. So like auditory exclusion, they're in the fight or flight or freeze, or, you know, everything goes out the window. Fine motor skills goes out the window. And we can't expect people just to rise to the occasion, right? If you've never been in 1200 degree, 1500 degree fire, you're not going to be able to perform. Bottom line, I don't care who you are, right? So what we try to do, and we pride ourselves in at True Grit, is we are bringing as realistic training as we can to teach you what to do when you get those hot burns, right? Those hot fires, right? And we always tell people we're not coaching you during the evolutions. We'll give you some tidbits after, as long as it's nothing safety wise during. But the fire is going to teach you what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
The fire is going to teach you if what you're doing is working or not working, if it's a true fire. Little fire academy bullshit. Everybody knows, you know, pencil the fire. Okay, don't put it out because we got other guys who run through all that bullshit, right? You're building those
Training
training scars.
scars. Yeah, man.
Yep. Yep. So and then people yell at them when they come online. It's like, well, that's what you were taught. Like they used to teach search. Oh, we're choo-choo training. I got to hold your ankle and we got to make this little train, and we're going, what the fuck are we doing, dude? Right. So we're just trying to bring as realistic training as we can to the Denver metropolitan area. We put on some live fire classes. Like I said, we're going to start putting some search classes and some RIT classes as well.
That's awesome.
And we've
So
got
do you also provide that to if anyone else, whether they're in Colorado or not, you guys will go out and teach other departments outside the Colorado area, or it's just based in Denver area?
we haven't yet, but we had 2 guys come out from Utah. This last class we had on March 15th, and they're like, hey, our chief is really interested in bringing you guys out. And I literally just talked to him earlier today. So we're going to see if we can make it happen. But yeah, we'll go wherever, you know, tell us what your needs are, what you want. And we'll see if the facility can do what we want it to, obviously. And then yeah, we'll come out anywhere. So hopefully we get to go to Utah here soon and put some training on.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And then, so you do a lot, man. So how do you also just unwind? What do you do in your off time?
Well, living in Colorado, I came out here for a reason, right? So I try to, so we work a 48-96 schedule here. Um, and so I try to go snowboarding at least once a 4 day. As long as I don't go on the weekends. We don't go on the weekends because of all the tourists and it's just crazy traffic and crazy busy. But try to go snowboarding at least once a 4 day in the winter. I started back training jujitsu last week because I took about a year off just because I was in training last year. Didn't prioritize training. Not that I didn't have time. I didn't prioritize jujitsu. So started back last week. Sorry. So now I'm training 2 to 4 times a week. And then in the summertime, camping, hiking, traveling. I try to travel to one new country a year minimum. This May, I'm going to Spain, Portugal, France, and Andorra to ride motorcycles through all those countries with my tattoo buddy. He's a great friend of mine.
Oh
Been
man,
tattooing me and been friends for over 15 years. So we're going to go check it out.
that's amazing. Now,
Yeah,
so you
man.
say you ride. So do you have a bike now? I imagine you do.
Yep.
What do you ride?
Yep. So, well, this is my first Harley. So I had a 49 Chevy 3100 rat rod that I've had for like 4 or 5 years, like super custom, air ride suspension, the whole deal. Long story short, I've had it for like 5 years and I just wasn't driving it anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell it and I'm going to ride motorcycles again. Last year, a friend took me to Leadville. They have a dirt track with dirt bikes. Never driven a dirt bike before. And they had me jumping doubles on my first day. So I was like, dude, I got to get back on 2 wheels. Long story short, my good friend from Florida, he has this totally custom road glide, air suspension, everything stretched, like a 26-inch front wheel. So we ended up trading the truck for the Harley. So now I have a Harley. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun.
And it is a lot of fun. I love riding, man. It's definitely being in New Hampshire. You know, it's the country roads. You know, it's amazing, man. It's
What do you ride?
so I have a Harley. It's actually a Dorico. I don't know if you remember back in the day where Steven Tyler, he teamed up with a designer called Dorico, and they started making these motorcycles. It's basically a Harley Davidson like Softail, but they all came together, these two guys, and they made the Dorico. And every bike they sold, you'd get you have a little signature on the bike, and you'd get a autographed Aerosmith guitar with every bike.
Hell yeah. You have the
But
guitar?
no, I don't. So the story is real quick is that we had it as an auction or as a raffle for my previous department. And so the guy,
Damn.
yeah, man. So it was actually donated to our department. And a gentleman who lives in our town, he's the cousin of Steven Tyler. So Steven Tyler's from the New Hampshire area.
Okay.
So, well, actually, yeah, he's from New Hampshire, I think. And he's got family in the area. His cousin lives in the town I live in. And so his cousin used to own a motorcycle shop and they would sell those Doricos. And so he donated this motorcycle to our Firemen's Relief Association. And so we raffled it off for $100. He also gave us a custom paint job, dude. So I have it's a custom paint job. It's red with gold leaf on it. And I didn't win it though. So somebody else on my department won it. Then a couple of years later, he didn't want it anymore. So he sold it to me.
Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. Well, still a good deal, but I was
it's
like,
a great
you got
deal.
that for $100?
I wish it was $100, man. So yeah, right. I do ride up. I'll have to show. I do have pictures up. I'll have to put them up someday. But man, I love the bike. I love to ride. It's a great relief, you know. And if anybody has any hobbies, fishing, camping, whatever it is, you know, like you said, you do have to. I think a good break away from your regular routine, and it can't be always working out every day and all the time because, you know, it's for me it starts to become mundane. You gotta spend time away and just free your mind and just like riding motorcycles for me in the summertime in the fall, you really can shut your brain off and just enjoy what's around you and take time to enjoy life, you know, and appreciate what God has given us of beautiful leaves, beautiful air, beautiful environments, you know, and that's, it helps you to, yeah. So, so you got the true grit. You're going to be traveling to friggin' some amazing places to ride motorcycles. Sounds like you got some good core friends. And you know, especially with the Crucible as well. Do you have any other projects coming up? besides the Crucible, besides HardKnox? Because I mean, you're putting good content out all the time. Like,
well, thank you. I mean, so Logan and I are teaching Oklahoma City. They got, I think it's I forget, I'm going to mess it up, but they have a conference at the beginning of October, no, end of September. So Logan and I are flying out there to teach hands-on like firefighter survival SCBA confidence class. So they reached out to us and asked us if we'd come out there. So I'm super stoked about that. And then right after that, I'm flying to Reno to teach at the Fire Shows West conference with my buddy Chris Boyer, who was in my smoke diver class, and he just graduated one bad tour this morning.
nice.
I think it was this morning. So we're going to be teaching another version of like firefighter survival / SCBA confidence as well. And then besides that, nothing as far as this year goes. I mean, we're supposed to be teaching at Dagum Fire Conference. They had to postpone that for a little bit. And those Dagum boys from Texas, I don't know if you've talked to them or met them, dude, but those are like some of the most stand-up dudes ever. And I got a little taste of it last year when we taught at the Castillo Way Conference. And I was like, I'm all in, man. I never felt anything like that before, man. The love and the
We'll talk
brotherhood
about
was
that real
amazing.
quick. I absolutely
Yeah,
love those guys.
those guys are amazing.
Amazing, man.
Yeah,
They and I talk about it a lot. I'm sure people are probably sick of me talking about them all the time, but I went to Dagum. I guess it was almost 2 years ago now, for the
yeah,
No Quit Writ, and I got to meet Rob
yeah,
Ramirez. I got to meet Basil. I got to meet. That's where I met Maddie and met Tom Hollick and Kevin and the Cano brothers. God, I
yep,
met
count
so
them.
and Raymond. Like I met all these amazing people, and what was so cool about it was one, I've never been to a conference like that. Um,
Yep,
but the instructors, the whole cadre of everyone was just top notch. Like I walked away after that week with new friends. I didn't walk.
yep,
I gained knowledge that I immediately brought back to New Hampshire because it was a lot of good out of the box thinking that we didn't do up here. But man,
right.
I walked away with friends, and I couldn't wait to go back to another training that they were teaching because like there's a picture of me and Rob in the book of search, and
Mhm.
it was such a touching moment that we had because I screwed up what he wanted me to do, and we were doing the Denver drill, and I kind of screwed up because I didn't understand what he wanted, and I did it, and he like puts his arm around me, and we talked real quick about what he wants. But he didn't, because he didn't make me feel like shit. He's like, "Oh no, I see what you're doing, but like, I want you to do it this way." And we're literally just talking real quick to go over his expectations. He didn't make me feel less than anything, and
Yep,
nobody made me feel like shit. And it was just a cool family learning environment, seeing people's families on the drill yard. Um,
yep,
it was great.
yeah,
I can't say it enough. Like, I got Kevin coming up to help out with
oh yeah,
the Explorer program that I help run.
oh
Um,
yeah,
and I talked to them. I was just telling my wife the other day, I talked to those guys more than I talked to half the people that I know in my department
yep,
because they're
yeah.
just down to earth.
Yeah, so that conference. I only knew one person in person, and we really hadn't really met that much. I think I met Remy once, but he was like the only person. Oh no, I take that back. I knew Noah. Noah Katz was there teaching. That's the only person I knew. But I knew all these other guys, like 20 or 30, just from social media, right? Then you come to this conference and you meet them, you act like you've been friends forever.
Yeah, man.
And it's like genuine. It's not fake. It's not anything. It's super genuine. And man, I love those guys. And I always tell people like, dude, that's any conference you got to go to, you got to go to that one because those dudes put on something special that nobody else does.
I'm so happy you
I
said
got you.
that because I preach it all the time. I
Yeah.
absolutely, it made me feel like family. Like I said, like the learning environment was great. Like I was learning some good stuff, and the repetitions were top notch. Like we were every evening. I was exhausted. Like I'd go back to my hotel room, like my body's aching, but I couldn't wait to go back and do it again. And I came back with well, again with just a wealth of knowledge. But man, I felt so refreshed. I felt
Yep.
so rejuvenated, and I couldn't wait to go back to tell everybody what I just learned and all the
Yeah.
friends I had just met and now made for life. And then I got to see them in Arkansas, and I got to see them at other conferences, and it's just so cool that like someone like you saying the same thing is that go to it. Like I tell everyone all the time, if they have any of these programs, if you see any of these guys teaching any of these programs, you got to go because you're going to be missing out.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got up every morning and worked out. And we were out, teaching all day. By the time you get home and eat dinner and whatever, you're super late. And then you get up. We were up every morning behind the hotel, like 20 or 30 of us working out and then getting after it. And then that last night, by happenstance, somebody talked to these people in the lobby at the hotel. And they're like, oh, we're going to Limp Bizkit concert. We're like, what? Limp Bizkit's in town? Dude, last minute, like 18 of us, I changed my flight like 3 times. Freaking, I was like, when is the next time I'm going to be able to go to Limp Bizkit with all these dudes? Like, we had a blast, man.
You were with my friend Brian Rondu, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on. Hell yeah.
So cool, I couldn't make it, and he was showing me all the pictures and videos, and I was just so jealous of all the fun you guys were having, but for a really great cause. So I'm so glad that we get to talk about that, because sometimes I talk about it too much, but I'm glad you like to talk about it.
All right.
Before we wind up too, since you pretty much are like the professional for working out in gear, and I watch your videos, and a lot of people watch it, but I'm sure you get those people that are like, you can't work out in your gear all the time. You're going to get cancer, what is that like? Do you wear something special underneath your gear? If people are worried about that stuff, or like, it's inevitable, we have to wear our gear, and we have to do it on calls. And like you said, if you don't wear it on a regular basis, you're going to forget what that feels like. And then when it's time to go to work and actually work out in your gear on an actual call, you're going to be surprised because you're not ready for it. So what do you say to that?
I love talking about this. But before we go down on that, I forgot to mention I am going to go to FDIC. I'm teaching FDIC with Basil and his crew.
I'll see you there.
Operation Mayday. So yeah, man, that'll be awesome. It'll be good to meet you in person, bro.
Absolutely.
But I want to mention that before I forgot. But yeah, so the PFAS thing, right? The elephant in the room, right? So shit, I don't even know where to start, right? So here's my thing I love. When people are bitching about PFAS, these people weren't training in gear before they found out about PFAS, and they're not going to be training in gear after they get PFAS-free gear. Number one. Number two, did any chief in any department in anywhere in the country bat an eye when they send their guys to recruit school for 12, 16, 20, 24, 30 weeks, and they're in gear every freaking day, all day?
Yeah.
Not once did PFAS fucking come up. But now all of a sudden you come online, God forbid you want to work out for an hour a day to maintain your comfort, your acclimatization to being in gear, then everybody, it's like you just shot a puppy or something, right?
Yeah.
Number two, PFAS is in everything. It's in tap water. It's in all the nonstick cookware. It's in all the cool Carhartt shit y'all like to wear. It's in all the hunting shit you guys like to wear, right? And I guarantee you, most of these guys that are talking about PFAS are doing nicotine, which is 100% proven to be cancer causing. PFAS is not there yet. John talked to a scientist about PFAS, and he's going to write an article, and I can't wait till it comes out because it's going to debunk a lot of this PFAS shit. So, and at the end of the day, we all know the answer to this question, but who do you want coming to save your family? Do you want the guys that are getting after it in gear every single day, that are freaking hard hitters, aggressive firemen? Yes, I said the word aggressive, not reckless, aggressive firemen that know what the hell they're doing to come save your family? Or do you want the freaking recliner jockeys that are fat and out of shape that are going to have a heart attack the second they have a legit fire coming to save your family? Come on, man. Let's be real. So again, science-backed, being in gear, you have to be in it all the time. They say just putting our gear on, it increases your resting heart rate by 44%. Just putting it on, not getting any work done, just putting it on. So you do the math, whatever percent, right? We are not rising to the occasion. You took the oath. You wanted the t-shirt. You wanted the sticker. You want to tell everybody you're a fireman. Well, start acting like a professional fireman. Take this job seriously, right? People forget that this is a life and death profession. What we do has consequences, right? And we all, EMS is most of everybody's genre. Cool. All right. What is it? Low frequency, high acuity calls. That's what fire is. It is a hellish condition that is chaotic, and it's our job to bring order to this chaos. And it's not going to happen by not training in gear, right? Like Jocko talks about all the time when he was in training all the SEALs, Not saying we're SEALs, not comparing us to SEALs, I'm not saying any of that shit. But he put his guys through training that was harder than real life when they were going overseas to war to get shot at.
Yeah.
And when they came back, they said, thank you for putting us through the shit here, because when we went over there, it was easier, right? We're in the stage right now in the fire service. The pendulum has swung so far to the other side that everything has to be nice and easy. You know, God forbid it's like 90 degrees out. You know, in South Florida, there's fire departments that had heat index rules that if the heat index was higher than X, you couldn't train in gear. Every fucking day is that in South Florida, right?
Yeah.
So what are you telling me? I can't train? That's like telling soldiers, hey, you can't use your gun till you go overseas.
Yeah.
What? It doesn't even make sense, right? So we have to make training harder again, putting times on things, right? Like putting standards and putting everybody that has gear, including chiefs, if you have gear, you need to meet these standards. Otherwise, fucking turn the gear in, right? Right? Like fucking e-brake to flowing water, 1.5 minutes, masking up under 20 seconds, right? E-brake to throwing a ladder, less than 2 minutes, whatever, you know, up in the window, 2.5 minutes, whatever it is, right? You got to put time on stuff because that's the only objective standard that there is. Like I could be like, oh, I feel like I can mask up, and then you time me and it takes me 3 minutes. What? And then I go to force a door and I'm doing the baton twirling because I don't know what I'm doing. And it takes me 3 minutes to force a door. That person is dead up inside, right? All the studies from like firefighter rescue survey and stuff say they have like 6.5 minutes to give them what, like a 67% survivable rate.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like everybody, I always say this, everybody wants to be a gangster till it's time to do gangster shit, right? And we're all like hoping we don't get, not us, but there's people that are hoping they don't get that fire, right? Hoping they don't have to go hop in a window and VES something, right? It's not a matter of if, it's when, right? They keep posting all these 1 and 2 station departments that are making grabs. Fuck yeah. But do you think you're making grabs if you're not training in gear and training? It's not happening.
Yeah.
You're going to be getting bodies. You're going to get in bodies. So that's my take on PFAS, man. I'm going to train in gear. I took the oath. Nobody's going to tell me I can't work out in gear because, you know, at the end of the day, when it's my time to do whatever it needs to do, I know that I did everything possible to give that citizen the best possible chance and my crew, right? Because if they go down, it's my job to get their ass out. We all know the RIT has less than 7% chance of saving you, right? The best chance is your crew inside or other interior crews, right? All the science is out there. All the numbers are out there, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do I prepare for that if I'm not in gear, training every day?
Mm-hmm.
And not just every day you're on shift, because if that was the case, I would train 2 days and have 4 days not in gear. 2 days is better than none, but I'm in gear every day. And that's just because I take this job seriously. And I want to be that asset on the fire ground. And I want to show them what's possible, right? Show those youngsters what is possible. And man, I love seeing these young bucks in my department and everywhere around. They're getting after in gear. And I freaking love it, man. It's freaking awesome because I know that they're going to be better than I ever was.
Yeah. Even better than you found it.
That's it, man.
Yeah, bro.
That's it.
God,
and
I love
the thing
that.
is, like, people are like, the one thing is like, you don't know what you don't know. And it's always scary, like you said earlier, to ask for help, right? Like I grew up in fitness and working out and an athlete, so I know. But if you didn't grow up in that world, how do you ask somebody, right? And I always tell people because they're like, well, I don't want to work out with you because I can't keep up with you, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I always tell them like, we'll bullshit all day long at the kitchen table in the bay, fuck around, whatever. But if you're out there trying to get better and being serious about it, you could be in shorts and a t-shirt and I'm in full gear and I will never talk shit about you ever. And ask people that know me, they'll tell you the same thing, right? Never will I belittle anybody for trying to be better. But if you're sitting over there in the recliner talking shit, then we're going to have a conversation, right? Because you're not out here, you're not the man in the arena trying to get better, trying to be better than you were yesterday. So like I always say, don't be it's not a competition. It's not a competition between you and me. I'm working on me, you're working on you. Let's get better and help each other, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like you said before earlier, like for quitting addiction, you got to do it for you, not for your family, not for your friends. You have to do it for you. And it's the same thing with this is, yeah, we like you said, we took the oath and we got to protect the community we serve and our brothers and sisters. But at the end of the day, you still have to do it for you. You need if you're not, you got to be in it to win it. You got to be about it. You can't have other people telling you that you have to do it. You need to do it. And if you're not driven to discipline yourself, you're never going to get off that couch. You're not going to get off that recliner. It's like,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
about being like your approach too, right? Like when I was young and dumb, I would have told you you're a piece of shit because you weren't working out in gear and you weren't doing what I was doing, right? That ain't gonna get you anywhere, right? Staying humble, staying hungry. It's all about your approach, man. Like half the time I have a workout in my head that I want to do, but I'll be like, hey, you guys want to get a workout in? Cool. You want to do circuit? What do you all want to do? All right, cool. Let's do what you want to do. Cool. It ain't gonna make or break my fitness if I don't do my workout one time, right? Versus no, you guys got to do what I want to do, and you got to be in full gear, or fuck that, or it's my way or the highway. That ain't gonna get you anywhere, right?
Nope.
So you got to be humble. You got to be approachable, even though looks can be deceiving, right? And yeah, just help people, but you can't shove it down their throats, man.
That's
You
what I
can't shove
love,
it down.
dude. That's your.
I've had,
It's so right.
yeah,
You're
you
so
can't.
right. Yep.
I had guys that were long time, like old salty guys on my department that never worked out in gear. I had them in full gear working out on air, doing circuits. But do you think I came in there pounding my chest, saying how badass I was and this and that? No, that would have got me nowhere, right? It's all about your approach, man. And it's just awesome seeing people in gear. Like my department, we got so many guys working out in gear now. It's freaking amazing.
That is so
It's
cool.
awesome.
Like I was just
And not
listening
just
to
all over the country.
all over the country, dude.
All,
And I was just listening to Mark Alone. He was on the weekly scrap, and he nails it. He's like, firefighters don't like to be told what to do. And we really don't, right? Like, you tell me that I have to work out, even though as much as I love to work out, if you tell me I have to do it, I'm not going to want to do it. I am going to half-ass that workout as much as possible because I'm just pissed because you told me I have to do it. But if I'm sitting in the room and I hear you guys, I'm going to be curious because that's what we are. We're going to be super curious. And if I see you in the bay getting after it, I'm like, well, damn, I want to have some fun. All right, I'll throw my gear on and have some fun and get this workout in. I'm going to be more apt to do it. If you're making it a chore and you start making somebody feel guilty, fat shaming, you name it, yeah, that person's not going to want to do it. And if they get in and they start doing it, it's just going to be half-assed and they're going to be miserable about it. And you'll never get them to buy in. And like you said, man, just like what I love to do is someone doesn't want to work out. That's cool. I'll be in the gym if you need me. And they'll come wandering over. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I'm just getting a workout in. Oh, you mind if I get on that? Let's do it.
Yep. It
Make
always
it
starts
fun.
with one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in the bay by yourself for a week or two, or a month or whatever, and then there comes one. And then here, next comes another one. And then next thing you know, you got your whole crew, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's.
Absolutely. I love it, dude. Oh, man. Marcos, thank you so much for being on the show. Talk about HardKnox. This show was HardKnox.
You're going to go back. You're going to text me like, hey, dude, we got to record again. I didn't get any of that.
So hopefully it all patches up together. Thank you all for listening to this. I'm curious to see how this works out. Hopefully I can patch this up. In case nobody knows, I had some technical difficulties numerous times. It's the name of the game when you're doing these things remotely. But man, my man Marcos has been really, really patient, and I can't thank you enough. It has been an absolute pleasure, an absolute honor to have Marcos on the show. HardKnox Sunday. Dude, you are you're top notch, man, and I can't thank you enough.
No, brother, man. Seriously, thank you. I appreciate you. Super humbled you even asked me to be on this on your podcast, bro. I'm super pumped and can't wait to meet you in person, bro.
I'm excited. I was going to ask you if you were going, but you already said it. So FDIC, it can't come soon enough. I'm excited to see people I've already seen.
2 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
It's crazy. Real quick, it was funny because my wife's like, I told her I wasn't going to be traveling a lot this year, and I've already been traveling. It's got one of my departments sending us to FDIC is like, I got to go.
So, if they're sending you, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. It's really good. I'm very blessed that our department is sending us. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and definitely going to seek you out and meet in person, dude. Well, all right. Marcos Orozcos, I thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being on the C.A.N Report. If anyone has any questions about what Marcos does or how to initiate a program with him, just reach out. As you can see, he is super humble. He wants us to do better. He wants us to be better. We're doing this for, like we said, we put our hand up. We took the oath. we have to be better. And Marcos is here to help you do that. So reach out to him. He can get you where you need to be. Thank you, Marcos, for being on the C.A.N Report. I love you all. Be safe.
Appreciate it.
Stay safe. Mazel tov.